Hello, Jinhao. I don't know what Jinhao means. And I don't know, I certainly don't know why you guys are so obsessed with Jinhao pens. Because the one farmaish that I keep getting from so many of you is to show more Jinhao pens. I mean, perhaps one of the reasons is that, okay, Jinhao pens are good. I've got nothing against them. Number two, they are offered at a very agreeable price point, and this I'm saying, knowing fully well the kind of profits that dealers have, which by selling every Jinhao pen, the markup that they have, that's also pretty substantial. So there is so much of reason for dealers and people who are in the trade to push Jinhao pens, because they're making a pretty packet, and all these things about nationalism and all the tirangas that you see, don't believe them, because when it comes to business, we have a different set of values, and that's about it. So that's why probably people keep pushing, talking about Jinhao pens, and I get so many requests to cover Jinhao pens. And one of the requests that is coming on at a pretty regular basis is for her Jinhao Centennial pen. So what I did is I bought one from one of the dealers here. So as you can see, this is the only color that he had. I mean, not that I particularly like the color, but I think it's a bit too garish. You know, this blue and pink with this gold trim, and uh, you know, uh, gold this thing here. This is too gaudy for my liking, but this is the only one that he had, so I'm kind of forced to buy it. So as you can see, this is kind of a copy, as usual, of a very famous pen. And like I was saying, that I've said it in the video, I've explained earlier in my earlier videos that I don't really want to compare these pens to the originals, because that's not doing these pens a favor, and certainly not adding to the value of the originals. So what I'll do is I'll check these pens out as standalone products at the reasonable price point at which they are offered, and see how good or bad they are. Now, visually, I will not give this much marks. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean that you guys won't like it. There may be people with the different tastes, and this has a nice golden clip, which looks and feels pretty solid. There's a huge golden band around the cap finial. Now, as I turn around this cap, I kind of, it feels that there's something wrong here. The alignment is not right. Probably you can also see it, or maybe because maybe that's only a parallax error. But somehow, I mean, to my eyes, it's looking kind of weird. And there's a finial top here, which shows their logo or whatever it is, I don't know. And this opens nicely. The grip section is fairly, though on the smaller side. It's kind of a standard grip with a two-tone nib, with the kind of Jinhao written in it, and with the same design at the finial top end. So, and it has a converter which is decent. I won't say this is a very good converter, because it doesn't feel that good in the hand, but looks like a decent converter. So let's ink it up. Why wait for tomorrow what can be done today? So here it is. Let us ink up the pen and put it on paper. So, there it is. It has, as you can see, it has not drawn the entire thing, but I think it's got enough ink to write with. So what we will do is show you some writing samples. This also writes the first time around. This is Jinhao as desired, and it writes very smooth. You know, as I say as I say this, as I was writing, this writes damn smooth. This is a very smooth pen, and it's a pleasure writing with it. It is a pleasure. At its price point, this is a fairly good pen. What else? What else do I write? As you can see, there's no skipping, there's no burping, there's no nothing. It writes well, and it writes in a steady line, and there's no, the writing samples are very good. The pleasure of holding this pen, and these are all standard sizes and standard. What I must say, without again taking names, is the original from which this was copied was so good that even the copy has to turn out good, you know. So, like, I am biased. I'm biased against these guys. So, but otherwise, to be honest, this in terms of manufacturing processes, hats off to these guys because, you know, making a copy is, I think, more difficult than uh, coming up with an original because there you're starting from the scratch and you don't have anything to be judged against. There's no yardstick. But what these guys are doing, they're always coming up with things that can be easily compared, and they are selling their products at bargain basement prices, whereas the yardsticks against which these bargain basement priced products are compared to are there at the uh, corporate top level. So that's the kind of distance that they cover with every one of their products, and that they are still continuing, that they are still, if not winning, if that they're still in the race, and that too around the world speaks volumes about the capabilities of this company. I mean, it should not be taken easily. It should not be taken lightly. This is a good pen. What I wish for is that they brand it as their own instead of trying to pass it. I don't know whether it is their fault or it is the fault of the dealers who push it, but I would rather that they were selling their products as their own. I mean, as proud people, they should market whatever they're doing or whatever they are presenting as their own, instead of, you know, what these guys are doing. But this is a good pen and I like it. Would I carry it in my pocket? Certainly. Will I? That's because I love pens. I love all pens, irrespective, and to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, from where a pen comes or what religion or what caste or nothing matters. At the end of the day, what I see is whether the pen feels good in my hand, whether I like it, and whether it writes well. Now, out of these three things, I were to, kind of grade this pen, I don't like what I see. So there's a 0 there. Do I like writing with this pen? Yes. So that's 1 on 1. Does it feel good in my hand? I'll say 0.75 out of 1. So this is 1.75. This that makes this pen above average, which should be the midway cutoff point. So will I buy another one? Certainly. Will I gift another one? Certainly. Will I use another one? Certainly. Will I make it my daily carry? Perhaps not, but there's no qualms about using it. I'm open to it. I mean, uh, if I am caught dead with it, I will feel bad, but if I have to use it, I've got no qualms. Thank you.